Dear children, in this video, we are going to learn the topic laws of motion. Actually, by observing the heavenly bodies, some of the scientists assumed that the bodies which are in motion tries to be in motion unless it is compelled by an external force to stop it. And similarly, if the body is at rest and it tries to be at rest forever unless until we apply some force to move that object. Finally, Newton come up with three laws of motion by conducting several experiments, and the three laws of motion proposed by Newton are very familiar, and here in this lesson we are going to learn the three laws of motion proposed by Newton. First law. Here, first law states that a body tries to be in rest or in uniform motion unless it is compelled to stop or to move from its original position. First law of motion states that the body which is under motion tries to be in motion, and a body which is at rest tries to be at rest unless until it is experienced by some external force. This is the first law of motion. The first law of motion, again I am explaining, it states that a body which is in motion tries to be in motion unless it is compelled by an external force to stop it. And similarly, a body at rest tries to be at rest unless until it is compelled by an external force. That is, for example, if we place this duster here, it tries to be in this position unless until some external force is applied to move from this position. And similarly, a body continues to be in the state of motion when it is not stopped by anybody. That is, you may ask me that, sir, when we roll an object, it will stop after moving sometime. But there is a reason that an external force, that is, the force which is known as frictional force, is applied on the body. That's why it stops. And similarly, a bus which is moving with the velocity stops when the driver applies brakes. That is, the retardation force is applied on bus to in all cases, it happens. That is, an external force is always acting on a body in motion or a body which is at rest. So this is the first law of motion. Newton's first law of motion states that a body continues to be at rest or in uniform motion unless until compelled by an external force to change the state of rest or of uniform motion. So here the property of a body that makes the body to continue in the state of rest or of uniform motion is also known as inertia. Inertia of a body is the property of the body to continue in the state of rest or of uniform motion unless it is compelled by an external force. This property can be observed in our daily life in many cases. For example, when we are in a bus which is at rest and the driver suddenly starts the bus, then we can observe that the person who is standing in the bus generally tries to fall, that is, generally falls backward because the body of the passenger who is in the bus is at rest initially. When the bus moves suddenly, the lower part, that is, the part which is contacted with the bus, moves along the bus, but the upper part of the body tries to be in the state of rest. That's why he falls backward. Once again, I am explaining the same fact. That is, when a person is standing in a bus which is at rest and he falls backward when the bus starts suddenly because of the property of the inertia. That is, the body, when the bus is at rest, is also at rest, and the bus suddenly starts forward. The path which is in contact with the bus moves forward, but the upper part of the body tries to be in the state of rest. That's why he falls backward. Similarly, when a bus is moving with certain velocity and a person is standing in the bus, if the driver applies the brakes suddenly, that means the bus is stopped suddenly, then the person who is moving along the bus will fall forward because when the bus is in motion, the body, the person is also in the same state of motion. When the bus is suddenly stopped, the lower part of the body of the person stops suddenly, but the upper part of the body tries to be in the state of motion. That's why the person who is standing in the bus which is in motion falls forward when the bus is suddenly stopped. This can be observed in your daily life when you travel with your father on a bike. For example, if you sit on the bike and your father suddenly starts the bike, automatically your body part will fall far backward when the bike is started suddenly by your father. And similarly, when a speed breaker comes in the way of your father, is applies brake suddenly, and in that case you will fall forward because of the inertia of the body. So inertia of the body is of two types, that is inertia of motion inertia rest. This is known as dynamic inertia. This is known as static inertia. When a body in motion continues to be in the state of motion, it is the property of that body is known as inertia of motion or dynamic inertia. And a body which is at rest continues to be in the state of rest. That property of the body is known as inertia of rest or static inertia. So finally, first law of motion also discuss the property of the body that is known as inertia of rest and inertia of motion. This you can observe in many cases. For example, we can also carry out an activity to observe this inertia of motion or inertia of rest. That is, for example, when a trolley is taken by you in a supermarket. Go to the supermarket and take a trolley and try to pile up the objects in the market by arranging one on the other like this in the trolley, and try to push the trolley suddenly. Automatically the objects which are piled in the trolley will fall backward, and try to arrange the same objects again and slowly start the trolley and speed up the trolley. At certain instant, try to stop the trolley. Automatically all the objects fall backward because of the inertia of motion and inertia of rest. So inertia of motion is also known as dynamic inertia. Inertia of rest is also known as static inertia. Inertia of a body depends on the mass of the object. That is, if the object has more mass, it has more inertia, whereas if the object has less mass, it has lesser inertia of property. That is, property of inertia is more when the mass is more. That's what we will say. That is, when two objects are there and one is heavier and the second one is lighter, if you try to push the two objects, the object with less mass will move quickly when compared to the object with heavier mass. That means the object with heavier mass has more inertia of rest when compared to the object with lesser mass. So inertia of rest or of uniform motion depends on the mass of the object. Once again I am repeating the same topic. That is, inertia depends on the mass of the object. Why? When we take two objects, one with heavier mass, high mass, and one with lesser mass, if you try to push the two objects, we can easily move the object with lesser mass when compared to the heavier mass. That's why we can say that inertia depends on the mass of the object. Thank you.